Aloha y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living, and it's a moment of Philosophy Corner. I have a wonderful friend, a business colleague, who's really into, believe it or not, there are weirdos like me who are into ethics, moral ethical philosophy. That's her specialty. So we got this fun dialogue going on, and she posed a question to me a few days ago that I've been sitting with, and I figure, hey, why not me give my response and also toss it out to you who might be interested in the topic as well. I bet you got some juicy things to say about this. Now, by the way, just to put this in a little bit of context, why would we talk about moral philosophy? Well, personally, I got my college degree. All the adults said, you know, what are you going to do with that? In philosophy, religion, and English. And at the time, at first I wanted to be a lawyer, right? I was pre-law, that's practical, yes. Later, I was like, no, this is just what interests me. Later, I encountered the Grateful Dead and LSD, and I didn't want to be a lawyer anymore. So for many years, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew what was interesting to me. And for some reason, ethics was really interesting to me. Years later, when I found yoga, both the physical practice and the philosophy, I realized that the first part of the Yoga Sutra, the Bible of Yoga, what Patanjali teaches, it's ethics. It's a code of behavior and thinking. And it is built on the premise that if you engage in these practices which will increase power, awaken you, give you more vitality, power in yourself and power in the world, you know, very relevant to our monthly topic on gurus, you need an ethical foundation, right? And part of what's taught in the Yoga Sutra, one of the most basic principles is called ahimsa, which is usually translated as do no harm or no harming. I'd say a better translation is do as little harm as possible to other, right? This is the part of the Yoga Sutra where he's talking about what we do, how we behave with other. And this is so brilliant because the truth of yoga, the truth of life, all spiritual traditions point to this oneness, right? There is no other. That's the illusion. We're all the same. When we realize that, we're awake. That's freedom, right? That's oneness. And meanwhile, when we think we're separate, right? When we isolate ourselves energetically, while we suffer, but when we do that, if we want to awaken, if we want to come into greater oneness, then part of what we do is treat other, or technically speaking, apparent other, as gods, as divine. We do as little harm as possible, or proactively, we give as much love, support, service as possible, which is one of my hallmark metrics for spirituality. So ethics counts. It really does count. It matters. How we treat others is really important. As one of my teachers put it to me, and I was baffled when she said this. She said, be careful how you treat others, because how you treat others determines how they see you, and how they see you determines how you see yourself. I was like, wait a minute, really? How does that work? Be careful how you treat others, because how you treat them determines how they see you, and how they see you determines how you see yourself. I'll leave you to ponder that one. It's profound. So, the question, back to the beginning of this video, that my friend, the moral philosopher, said is evil necessary in the world? Wow! That opens up so many possibilities. Is evil, well, is there evil? Is that true? Well, her perspective is, well, she's not sure, and some thoughts are, yes, evil might be necessary because in order to grow, advance, for spiritual beings, heroes, teachers to become their fullest potential, they need, what would you guess? They need foils, heyoka, right, joker. They need foes, enemies who, in facing them, help them to develop into who they are. Classic epitome example is from the Hindu tradition, an avatar. An avatar is an awakened being. Of course, we're super excited that the new Avatar movie is going to come out soon. It's a little bit different, although there's some relationship there. But from the classic perspective, philosophical Hindu perspective, an avatar is a divine being, a god, so to speak, who has incarnated into physical form at a special time in humanity when it is required to save humanity, to uplift humanity. And the one I'm referring to right now was known as Rama, right? And Rama came to earth when there was an especially powerful evil villain by the name of Ravana. Ravana, the nine-headed monster demon, eventually abducted Rama's girl Sita. That's a whole nother story I won't go into right now. It's a great one. It's the Ramayana, right? The story of Rama. And part of what we saw in that story is that Ravana, because he was so tricky, so vicious, so evil, he helped Rama find greater and greater courage and efficacy in himself that eventually allowed him to live up to his potential and be the hero he was meant to be and save the day. So her first point, my friend, her first point is a really good one. You know, it is that, well, if there is evil, if we call that evil, they exist in order to help good thrive, grow, become itself. I'm with that. I don't know, you know, and that's one of the best stances we can ever take in philosophy. As Socrates, I think, said, oh, my philosophy teachers are not happy with me right now, said, I know nothing, therefore I can learn. Right? The one thing I know is that I know nothing. Or as it's said in the Chinese aphorism, Chinese wisdom, if you want the truth, just let go of your opinions, which is very sage advice for us these days with so much polarization among different factions in the world going on. Another way of saying it would be, if you want peace, love, happiness, if you want harmony, then just let go of your opinions. Your need to be right, need for them to be wrong. They have a different perspective. Okay. They're not even they're me. So, back on track. The second thought I have for my friend around this topic is there evil? Because if you take it from another perspective, Advaita Vedanta is a philosophy from India, also known as non-dualism, which, as the name implies, says there is no good or bad, right or wrong, evil or good. It's all good. I love the way Byron Katie puts it. She says, God is good, God is everything, show me an exception. That's sometimes tough for us, right? Because we think, yeah, everything's good, it's all good. We even got bumper stickers that say that. Except this person, this situation, that, whatever it is. And what is enlightenment, even though it's a problematic word? What is freedom? What is liberation? What is, as Jesus called it, the peace that passeth all understanding? It's the realization that everything is just as it's meant to be, right? Even the things that I think should be differently. The things that I think should be different, right? And I have those, of course. I'm part human too. Excuse me. We're all, most of us, I think, watching this are part human. And the human part of us, the human animal, survival-oriented, tends to see things as problematic because we're wired that way for survival. We're looking out, kind of like lawyers are trained, looking out for what's the problem. No offense, lawyers. I love you. I was going to be one once. And so the human animal part of us says, oh, what's the danger? What's the danger? What could be wrong? So it's wired that way. It's always looking for that way. And what do you see in the world? What you're expecting to see, what your beliefs are. We also have this other part of us that is completely free, that knows everything is perfect all the time. As Eckhart Tolle says, the power of now, if we're really in the moment, there's never anything really wrong. So, if we go back to her question, is evil necessary? Well, one, is there evil? Because doesn't the word itself imply something wrong or bad? Like that dark is worse than light? What if, as the Advaita Vedantists tell us, it's all perfect as it is? All right. Philosophy Corner, thanks for joining. I could speak about this all day. I won't go any further because I would love to hear from you. What do you think to her question, right? Let's make it a community conversation. Is evil necessary in the world? Which presupposes the question, is there evil? Ooh, it's a juicy one. And with that, y'all, and by the way, what's the purpose of philosophy? Right, I know, philosophers, and I was about to go back to get a PhD in philosophy, in ethics, right at the time when I discovered yoga. And here's what I found. I didn't know the terms for it at the time, but philosophy, what it does generally is take things apart, analyze them, look at them. What yoga does, both the physical practice and the philosophy, is put things together, help us toward oneness. So the only purpose of this conversation that I care about is, does it help us to live a more vibrant life? Does it help us to be more loving in the world? As Osho said, the purpose of all education is to help us to love more and better. So let's respond and communicate about this question from that perspective. How does this question, your response to it, help you, us, to live a better life and to help our brothers and sisters live a better life? All right, now this time really I am wrapping it up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for dedicating yourself to a vibrant world. And if this is useful, fun, innocuous, please share, like, subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel, which is good for me, for sure. And it helps us to reach more people and have more vibrancy in the world, good for all of us. Ahimsa means what's good for the goose is good for the gander. All right, y'all. Aloha. Thank you.